The city of Bangalore in India used to be known as a city of lakes, with abundant water resources sustaining the lives of its people. But the past decades have seen the city's water bodies dry up or catch fire because of severe pollution, as in the case of Bangalore, one of Bangalore's largest lakes. At the heart of the problem is the unchecked urbanization that has swept the booming metropolis over the years. Jyothy Karat was in Bangalore to explore the extent and investigate the causes of its water crisis.
On the 19th of January 2018, Bangalore Lake, one of the largest lakes in Bangalore, caught fire. It lasted 36 hours, setting off alarm bells in the city. The lake fires of Bangalore are getting bigger each year. It is the 5th time the incident happened in India's IT capital.
One of the day I'm just sitting here and there is a smoke which is very common. Small fires are very common here, but then it turned out to be really unexpected and fumes colors are changing. That's when we know it is really something big. It's not a usual small garbage fire.
Bangalore is one of Bangalore's many suburbs that have been heavily urbanized within the last 2 decades. Housing complexes and commercial buildings replaced farms and wetlands over the years. With buildings choking the banks of Bangalore Lake, some 40% of the city's untreated sewage finds its way into the water. It's a perfect recipe for disaster.
City generates about 1,600 to 1,800 million liters of sewage. The part of it is treated. About 30 to 35% is treated. The remaining comes to the lake. But what we have observed in the lake is almost the water which comes to the lake is a raw sewage. Though they claim that it has been treated, it's not treated, and they are rich in the nitrogen and phosphorus.
According to Dr. T.V. Ramachandra, phosphorus is the main source of the stinking froth that Bangalore Lake is now infamous for. Snowy froth formed from detergents and industrial effluent spilled onto roads nearby, causing skin rashes among residents and even corrosion on automobiles. But a bigger problem was brewing under the water hyacinths that cover a large area of Bangalore Lake. Research by the Institute has shown that when winds churn the lake's water, combustible gases like methane are formed and are trapped under the thick mat of water hyacinth. Even a small cigarette could ignite a fire under these conditions.
We have a Water Act of 1974 which says that those who pollute the water should be punished. The polluter pays principle. Similarly, we have Air Act. But unfortunately, our regulatory agencies are so weak. So that is the root cause of the problem. Your laws may be good, but if the implementing agency is weak and corrupt, you cannot expect the law to do the job. So this is where the citizens have to have the awareness about the laws, and also who are responsible for managing and implementing the norms, they should be aware so that they can question the system.
The lake fires exposed Bangalore's water management problems, a toxic mix of water pollution and shortage. Despite covering an area of about 900 acres, Bangalore Lake's water could not be used by residents in the area to drink. The toxicity has become so high that it could not even be used for agriculture.
అక్కడ బాగుండే నీళ్ళు ముందర బాగా వస్తూ ఉండే నీళ్ళు తాగేకి అన్నిటికీ బాగుండే ఇప్పుడు కచరా అయిపోయి బెంగళూరు కచరా నీళ్ళంతా వచ్చి కచరా అయిపోయా ఏం పంట పెట్టినా యాసిడ్ అది ఇది ఏమీ పంట అయితే లేదు అక్కడ వాసన జాస్తి సొల్లులు జాస్తి అక్కడ అక్కపక్కల ఉండేదానికి అయ్యలేదు
Gopal Reddy is a 70-year-old farmer who once used to live and farm in Bangalore. Driven away by the pollution and water scarcity, he now travels 35 kilometers out of the city to farm every day. Gopal and many other farmers of his generation chose to continue farming even if it meant leaving their villages. But Gopal's son, Harish, had to venture into a new business that was slowly thriving in the city, supplying water.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರೊಂದು ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು ನಾವು 600 ಅಡಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ, ನೀರು ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಸುಮಾರೊಂದು 15 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇಂಟೆಲ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀರಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೀರು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ 2 ಬೋರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ 2 ಬೋರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ ಬೋರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ 1100 ಅಡಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನೀರು ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ.
Harish Reddy now lives away from Bangalore and caters to the ever-increasing demand for clean water to the apartments in his new locality. The residents around Bangalore, however, have no such options. Water tests show even the region's groundwater is contaminated.
This water goes to many apartments because a lot of places still do not have water provided by government, and they rely on these trucks, water tankers. There is no other option. So people have to drink, and summer has just started. Summer it becomes really, really bad. So people have to go to what is available, even though heavy metals are found and a lot of other issues are there.
Some residents blame Bangalore's worsening water crisis and the sorry state of the lake on migrant workers who illegally set up shanties on lake beds. But the environmental lawyer and activist Abhairaj Naik says it's the fault of poor urban planning.
While you might say that the person who's living under the urban flyover is a nuisance or an encroacher, the person who's encroaching on a lake bed is a illegal crime committing person, I would argue that one needs to see where they are coming from and why they are there. They're usually moving from another injustice to try and make a new life here. And if you actually think of the state as someone that takes care of its people, these people haven't been taken care of. So it's wrong to treat them as criminals in that sense.
The problem of lakebed encroachment by poor migrants pales in comparison to that by powerful construction companies and government agencies. A special investigative committee led by legislator K.B. Koliwat found that large-scale encroachment has led to the disappearance of Bangalore's lakes and the current water crisis.
4,000 acres of lake has been encroached by the government agencies. About 11,000 acres of lake has been encroached by the private agencies and constructed both residential and commercial buildings.
After the release of Koliwat's report, the government demolished a few buildings. But critics pointed out that not a single building owned by a large conglomerate was touched. Until date, nobody encroaching on the lake has been arrested. Despite our repeated requests, state authorities refused to comment on this story. While the government has failed to tackle pollution in Bangalore Lake and the fires that result from it, they built a $1 million pipeline to redirect polluted water to 70 lakes in the countryside. People are now concerned the pipeline might end up polluting water bodies in the countryside while drying up what remains of Bangalore Lake.
I would say this is an irresponsible and unaccepted urbanization. We should immediately intervene and decongest the city. Otherwise, the city will die. So as per my estimate, the 2020 or 2025, the city Bangalore is going to die.
What you're seeing is a criminal dereliction of duty where the state as trustee is abandoning priceless natural resources that belong to all of us, that should have been preserved for all of us by the state, is just being given away to a whole bunch of different people. So if the actual stability, integrity, the resilience, the very existence of the ecosystem cannot be protected, our concerns about purity and pristineness, I think, are meaningless.
Bangalore, which used to be called the City of Lakes, has lost over 700 lakes to encroachment in less than 4 decades. While older residents like Gopal fondly remember a time when Bangalore was beautiful and pristine, younger generations of this booming metropolis hope there's still a chance to turn things around. For Assignment Asia, I'm Jyothy Karat in Bangalore, India.
Some groups in Bangalore have started cooperating with the city government to save its lakes and help solve its water crisis. One project to manage the flow of sewage and to de-silt Agra Lake has led to its gradual revival.